This is Deb Helfrich, hashtag Redheaded She-Hulk. So, I'm on a NFT creation buzz and hoping the brontosaurus above doesn't cut off the internet access, but if she does, we'll have to have it out. As far as you can't expect somebody to earn money if you take away their actual only link to earning money. This is the delusion of white superiority that says if somebody's having trouble paying, the way you get them to pay is to punish them. I'm trying to get people to pay me. I need access to the internet in a global pandemic as somebody who's been locked in as a hermit for 10 years. A virtual living is my only option, and I have failed at it spectacularly. But that's because of y'all. It's because of the algorithms gatekeeping me from y'all. Because y'all have demonstrated to the algorithms that you like your attention span minute. You don't want to see complexity. You don't want to see things that can't be niched. You don't want to see things that aren't boom, 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 boom. No fuss, no muss, right to the point. Well, being on all these points has brought humanity to the jagged edge. Nothing is computing. We're just not seeing all the illogicalness in all of the vacuums of the fact that all we are is human consumings. Your job today consists of how many clicks you put on the internet. What do your emojis do for you lately? What do your comments? Great post, great post, great. What does that do for you? How do we get the people who aren't popular algorithmically, who aren't categorizable? I mean, this is at the basic sense, I don't believe machine learning is sentient. Not out to get me because they've programmed, let's ignore philosophers. It's that the things that they've thought about searching for are not philosophy. So we're all stuck in the repetitiveness of programs that are saying they're sort of learning because they're collecting big data on human behavior. Sort of the whole thing of being fully alive, in all honesty, being fully alive is a state when your behavior is not habitual. The whole point of being human and exercising free will, which you don't. You can't. We're not thinking about free will at all correctly. Go to Professor of Stanford, Robert Sapolsky, get Behave, see how big the book is, and come let me tell you about it. I mean, yeah, it takes me a while, but you try reading Behave. It's a challenge because I want to reread Behave. So that's precisely what that little bit of playfulness was. It's like, no, you can't read Behave as well as I read Behave. I had so much fun. Like, well, in that sense, like, well, in understanding we don't have free will. No, it's not so illogical. You keep telling me I'm responsible for all this shit that I am absolutely, undeniably not responsible for. Homeless individuals are not responsible for being homeless. civilization that says you have to prove your worth being homeful as at fault. Because as soon as you set up achievement statistics, you're guaranteeing that some people will fail. You're creating unnecessary competition for something that all humans need. You're setting up an entire financial system to say that only the good housing can be had by those who make a lot of money. There's evil. You've just created evil. Evil is not a force in the world that exists and then sort of gaseously permeates some human. What other humans do to a human is what creates an evil human. Let me say that again. Occasionally, there shall be earthquakes, tsunamis, asteroids. Can't get around that there are some completely planetarily bad circumstances that traumatize humans. But most, get me the big data statistics, all right, of the trauma and harm being passed around on this planet is human to human. Civilizationally required. How do our kids get traumatized? How do our kids get sexually abused? We got to be able to ask these questions to solve the problem. I've just triggered some of you. It's the internet. You can click away. But if you actually are your own self well enough to go, I'm going to do something to stop kids being sexually abused, we have to ask the question, why is it happening? And the answer to the question in this line of thought, there's many, it's a multivariable. But in essence, step away from all the gore of it. The adult's supposed to be protecting that particular child are at work. Statistics are going to say it is the work burden keeping a mother and a father from noticing, preventing the sexual abuse of their own child. Work is doing that. Now, we got to just go to this whole thing that still in 2021, in the US of hypocrisy, pregnancy is a disability. So you got the scientists and show me the studies, all anybody wants. The studies show that the imperative of a human organism is to reproduce and perpetuate the species. Well, corporate behavior in 2021 is that process is a disability. And you need to get well from your disablement within weeks. Come back into the cubicle captivity factory minds. Be damned, human developmental science. Mothers should not be forced to work in an external environment. They can choose to. There can be some here, there with flexibility. But mothers should not be forced to outsource the mothering of their child while breastfeeding is developmentally necessary. I don't even know. Our society doesn't, I don't know. It should be such a thing, just like y'all probably know, like the blood alcohol content for drunk driving. MAD did that. Mothers Against. So let's get Mothers Against pregnancy being a disability. This is a mind that's alive. You won't see this coming. This is why these NFTs are so valuable. You simply cannot know based on the title and based on previous things that you've heard from me what I'm going to say. This is again, I'm failing because it seems to me Everyone says the same thing over and over again. How many times over this past work week did somebody quote Gary Vee at your ass? People start quoting Zenzi. I just on LinkedIn for in honor of my non-binariness, which went completely unnoticed and uncelebrated. But I don't like. I'm not about the pronouns. I have no pronoun attachments problems. But I don't like Deb. I don't like my actual given names. You know, pronouns don't trigger me, but my name does. So I'll put in my little curvy brackets. You can call me Zenzi. Hashtag Chappelle Challenge. I know Dave Chappelle is going to really enjoy this. I really know Dave Chappelle wants to be my patron. The mentor into the industry. The sticks and stones. I think I said in one of the ones yesterday. Watching Sticks and Stones on September 15th, 2019 was my birthday into right livelihood. Seeing Chappelle perform that way, and even just the whole opening bit is what's going on here. Everything that's happened here, my entire NFT career of, it says 400 videos in YouTube. So the number's always sort of shifting around, so I don't really know how many I actually have, but I've been on this work. I've been doing the work. I have been preparing and practicing. But the intro of Sticks and Stones, first off, like the whole part about, oh, so ignorant. Like, this is so easy for me. And I get paid for the attempt, right? But Chappelle, like, in all that easiness and in all that, like, you got this and everything, you were asking for somebody to challenge you to Socratic dialogues, comedy soulmate, to getting our intellects out improvisationally. Menage a deux. A cappella. I knew there was a word there. I was stuck in French. A cappella. A cappella. Getting your truth out through your voice. This saves lives. And, you know, DC, since I'm shifting right into BFF of Dave Chappelle, DC, fuck venture capitalists, dude, right? Here's how we pivot. AC, artisanal capital. There is nothing more important than paying annual salaries to creative humans. When you do so, they first solve their own problems, but pretty damn quickly. Just solving your own problem doesn't get you anywhere. If you have the space to be creative, because you got nothing but problems, personally, within yourself. And after, you know, you saw 6, 7 of them and you start going, and there's like 600 more of these mugs right here. We go, well, but that's all because people seem to always be lying. And so the most important thing I can give to the world is figuring out how to liberate truth. That's what well-being philosophy is all about. The freedom to tell your own truth. And the skills of philosophy for us all to know how to synthesize all these individual truths into a universal framework of truth. Skin is a superpower. Melanin is an especially vibrant superpower. Melanin is gorgeous. And it's time to love all up on Black humans across the globe. So what got me all up in this? Yeah, 15 minutes. As I was just writing some comments on cacao. So I got a friend over here talking to this all from the African perspective. Is basically, flying back from Ethiopia, and he's co-founder of a blockchain company and a speaker on blockchains and supply chains. So he's flying back from Ethiopia. We ask ourselves, exportation or exploitation? Switching on our food lights to follow cocoa beans from their point of origin, Ghana and the Ivory Coast, export about 63% of the world's cocoa beans, to the top 4 producer destinations, US, Germany, Switzerland, Belgium. It's been quite revealing. If the farmers cannot even afford the chocolate, despite their blood, sweat, and tears to farm the cocoa beans, how do we get here as a society? Supply chain inequality, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the post. Deb says, eager to learn more about this crucial discussion and to provide insight as an American chocolate consumer. I do not think most commercial chocolate tastes good. I do consume raw cacao, self-finished every day. I have my own level of fat, sweetness, spices, and salt to form a bespoke, nutritious, luxurious treat. Selling raw cacao powder should become the next designation of terroir certification process, so that the value is associated with the farmers and their local conditions or special processes, and that terroir certification. It was the approaching of the certification that got the terroir. Too many R's going 2 different ways. So the terroir certification goes with the chocolate beans / powder as it travels through the supply chain. To me, nothing will fix our global civilization problems faster than right livelihood. The human effort part of work must become the aspect of commerce that adds the value, not the advertisement level. Americans are marketed very non-nutritious sugary candy. It will only take a short time to alter the country's taste buds to the full spectrum of cacao's health benefits. Yeah, I'm open to consult about setting up the Cacao Farmer Terroir Designation Organization using blockchain and digital currencies. Let's get farmers paid and recognized while giving consumers a much more nutritious end product. Win, win, win. And then there was another lady who left a great comment, and I want to respond to. And she said, the problem lies in the value chain. So we're agreement. If it's more profitable to export than process, why? Africans do not consume chocolates like Europeans do. The few companies that have tried replicating have either not had a strong brand building system to win over Africans, or they are yet to get the secret ingredient that gives it that great taste. The solution lies in providing unique chocolates with local confectionery variants that will capture the African markets and by extension Europe. Until then, we cannot argue that Switzerland produced great quality chocolates. Deb says, well, I can argue that taste is often a marketing myth. American commercial chocolates tasteless, sugary, caramely, but relatively devoid of actual cacao density. Yes, I'm going fast. Optimize your brain potential. Deb continues saying, I believe most people would prefer a more natural, less processed chocolate if they could taste test. Also, and I would be honored by honest feedback. If I try to envision a more African approach to chocolate, wouldn't it be more of a made-to-order street food that will be made and sold at the market via direct interaction, rather than in a factory? And I'd expect less dessert focus and more nutritious add-ins like cacao egg custard or a custom blended egg smoothie or a bar with dried fruits and nuts. Competing with Switzerland is not the only option, is my overall theme. Many foodies across the US and Europe are definitely ready to find African-sourced delicacies worth the effort and increased prices to afford African farmers and producers creating a top quality product a living wage. Yeah, boy. How many sentences can I smush into between periods? Oh, good. I didn't even freeze. There was a little bit of a lag there. We'll Jordan this. Nothing but 23-minute net. It's very strange to be dead bankrupt and alone in the world, feeling like I'm in my Dave Chappelle-dom. I'm getting 90 minutes from Netflix paid in advance for me to pull all my best bits together with freedom to see just what arises, right? This thing, you know, I mean, what I think is 9 specials, and then we cut them together. 9 completely improv specials, we cut them together. Again, blockchaining, doing all my fuck lawyers, right? I just Zoom and YouTube Live, the contracts and the agreements and the negotiations, and then there it is. And then we don't have to go through this long process of only certain people know legalese. It's me and the person who's writing me all these checks and some relatively independent intermediary paid for by a common fund. Want to stop the abuses of the legal system. Let's go to restorative justice, which is about, okay, well, here's the Zoom where we agreed. I'm offering you the chance to invest in one of these videos, and I have hundreds of them. Not all of them are investment quality, like Picasso. So there's like my YouTube videos, lives, and some Zooms. The live bit is really pretty fucking precious in terms of value. You can, it's digitally verified that this is me inventing. This is the constant capacity of my brain to invent ways to creatively stay alive as I'm about to die. I'm being excluded from the human race. And how do I solve that? I guess I'm going to have to explain what the human race is to other people. It's all of us. How we let any one of us suffer affects all of us. And it is the economy. Capitalism was twinned with racism from its birth. It forced stolen, enslaved labor. That's why capitalism is how we run the world, and it must be ended. That's a Jordan